Hello and welcome to tutorial 4. By the end of this video you will have learned how to use Lambda Robot to generate lambdas, save lambdas into the name manager, edit lambdas, and audit and debug lambdas. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fay
And I'm Erik.
And last time we created a formula command and a VBA command. So what are we going to do this time, Erik?
Okay, so today is going to be a banger because today we're going to talk about Lambda Robot. And Lambda Robot
Awesome.
is the most used command collection that we've created in the esports world. I use it all the time for work. You're going to love it, and it's all included in the free version of everything. So it's a free collection. You can use the free version of OA Robot, and the main things you can do with it is you can generate lambdas, you can save them into the name manager, you can edit lambdas, and you can audit lambdas. And we're going to go through all of that today.
Nice. I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous again to be put on the spot to do this myself, but
yes, and you're going to do it.
Yeah, let's dive in before I change my mind.
So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same example that we used in the previous session where you created a formula command and you had written a very nice little, formula for listing the characters using mid-sequence length. And what we're going to do is we're going to use helper cells to design a formula that does something a little bit more complicated, which is reverse a string. So we've already broken the characters out individually. Now what we want to do is reverse those characters and then concatenate them back up. So cool. Let's see if you can pull this off.
Okay. I think we should start with a sort by. Does that sound about right?
I think that'll work.
Cool. So I'm going to sort my array. I'm going to do the sort by the sequence of the rows of the
array. That returns a count. Yeah, rows returns the count. Then the sequence gives you 1 through that number.
And then I feel like we need a -1 for descending in the sort by.
That should work. And there's like many different ways that we can do the same sort of thing. You can do an index of it, or how it is with Excel. There's so many different ways to do the same thing. Okay, cool. So now we got it in the opposite order, and now we can roll that back up again.
Okay, let's concat this guy. And that looks so weird, but I believe it's right.
That does look weird. So here's the thing that is great about Excel. And if you're not somebody like Dearman Early that can write huge let statements all in one cell and keep it all in your mind and just hit enter and you get the perfect answer, which even, I don't think that way. I like to see things cell by cell. So we call these helper cells, and the helper cells don't have to be side by side. They can be arranged however you want. For the purpose of generating a lambda, it is helpful to label your columns or your helper cells. So you put list characters and reverse my array and concatenate. I think that's totally fine. Now we're going to talk about Lambda Robot, and we'll put up on the screen what the setup code is for this. We shared that in the past, but if you don't already have Lambda Robot, it's definitely one you want to register with your OA Robot. Okay, so now you're going to do Control-Shift-O to bring up the command palette, and what we're going to do is generate a lambda. So in my mind, I say generate lambda in my head, and I just type GL, and that'll bring it up.
Cool.
If you can't remember that, you could try to type generate, and it'll filter it in there. Great. So this is the Lambda Robot dialog for generating a lambda. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do in this, and we could do a deeper dive into Lambda Robot another time. the important thing to understand about Lambda Robot is when you generate a Lambda, it's taking that final cell that you had selected, kind of the answer cell to your logic, and it's doing a trace back of all of the formulas back to where there's a hard-coded value. And so in this particular case, the input was the hard-coded value, and it identified that and made that the parameter. And then it made all of the intermediate steps into let steps. So if you look at what it generated, it used the names of the labels that we put next to those cells as the way to name the let steps. And it came up with a Lambda. And it's not using any AI. This is all just Excel, Lambda Robot magic, and VBA. So go ahead and click OK. And look at that, right there in the cell. We just wrote a Lambda. It has all that same logic in there, and we never even typed the word Lambda. So that's pretty cool. But the next step is getting it into the name manager. Now, if you're not using the advanced formula editor or OA Robot, you're really missing out, because currently the only way to create a Lambda in standard Excel is to copy this whole thing and go into the name manager and go into that ridiculously small little box and paste that into the name manager. Unintuitive, not user-friendly, and there's just a way better way to do it. So we're not going to do it that way. We're going to use Save Lambda, which is also part of the Lambda Robot command collection. So do your Control-Shift-O. Type FL for Save Lambda. You got it.
And I just press
go ahead
enter.
and hit enter. It's going to give you a little dialog so that you can name what you want to call the Lambda. So I guess reverse characters would be good. And this is the Lambda name, so no spaces allowed in this one.
Okay.
So just do a capital C. And then you could click Save here and you'd be done, and it would be saved to the name manager. But we're going to give it a little bit more information, and you'll see why actually in our next tutorial, where we're going to create, we're going to turn a Lambda into a robot command. So I would just call it, cool. Reverse characters.
And that one has a space, right? Because then you can
that's right.
use the hyper search.
Yep. And then in the description, you can say, reverses characters.
String.
Perfect.
And an array, in fact.
Awesome.
And then
go ahead, click on Save.
Oh, it's changed the name here.
It changed it right there.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So you never had to go into the name manager, and you just created a custom function that's now part of this workbook. So if you wanted to use it in another workbook, you could copy it over into another workbook, but it'll be even easier with OA Robot. So so that was generate Lambda, and save Lambda. Now what happens next is sometimes you want to edit your Lambda. It's super not fun to edit Lambdas without OA Robot, because you have to go into that name manager, find in a big long list where your Lambda is, and copy out of that little tiny box, put it somewhere that you can work with. It's like not friendly at all. So what we're going to do is what do you think it's going to be called? What's the
Control-Shift-O-EL for edit Lambda? Oh,
you got it!
And I've genuinely never done this before.
There you go, edit Lambda. So edit Lambda does the opposite of save Lambda. Instead of saving it into the name manager, it takes it out of the name manager and puts it back in the cell. Because where's the greatest place in Excel to mess with formulas? It's in Excel, right? It's in the cell where we're used to writing formulas.
Here or in here,
So you can see, you can make changes to it, improvements or whatever. And then when you're done making those changes, So just you could just cancel.
We make a little silly change. Let's call it result 2 or something, just so we can prove that it's changed.
Perfect.
And then I just press enter.
Just like a regular. Now, if you point at the cell just before we do the save, see the little red thing in the corner? That's saying you're editing reverse characters.
Nice.
So that's how Lambda Robot knows that you're editing. So now when you do save Lambda again, the same command that we used earlier that asked you what you want to call it, this time it's not going to ask you what you want to call it because it knows you want to call it reverse characters. Okay. So go ahead and do SL for
save Lambda.
Yep.
And it's saved. The red button's gone. Yeah. And it's got the name back here. That's really cool.
Yeah. There's also a cancel Lambda edit command, which will, if you made a bunch of changes, but you don't want to save them and you want to revert it back to just the invoked Lambda statement, you can use cancel Lambda edit.
Nice.
All right. So the next thing is auditing Lambdas. So this is very, very important when you are using Lambdas and you need to debug them, right? So what happens when we typically have to debug a Lambda is you have to get it into that kind of edit mode, and then you have to like look at your let statements and try to figure out which step is going wrong and that kind of thing. So this makes it much easier to do that. So first we're going to do edit Lambda so that we can see.
Nice.
Yep, do EL for edit Lambda. So and then I'm going to introduce you to cycle let steps. So if you do OA Robot and do CL.
CLS, so cycle let steps.
Yep, cycle let steps is, so if you look at the formula now, you'll see that the last part of the let is now says list characters.
So it's cycling the first variable that was defined in the let. Cool.
So hit escape so you're not in edit mode. And now hit F4 so you're doing a redo. So it just cycled to the next one.
Now it's reversed
hit F4 again.
And now it's concatenated.
Hit F4 again.
Oh my god, this is so fun.
But there's another one that's even better, and that is debug let steps.
Oh.
So go ahead and do debug let steps. So there it is.
Are we doing compact or spaced?
You can do either one. I think spaced looks better, so let's do spaced. And you can say 6, that's fine. It's asking like if you have let variables return arrays, you may not want it to be like show the whole array. You just can kind of create a subset of it. So 6 is good. So now what we have is a view of each. Now you're seeing the results of all of the steps, all in there one by one, and you can look at them in their totality. So if you're trying to understand something that has a lot of steps, a lot of times you want to see them side by side and kind of just look through it. So
this is so good for a learning thing. So you can see each step, the output, the next step, the output.
Yeah, it shows you the size. So the first ones are an array of 42 rows by one column, and it kind of cuts it off in the middle so that that's that first number that you typed in, 6. It's giving 3 rows, the first 3 rows and the bottom 3 rows, so you can kind of see. That's what's going on there, the ... in the middle.
And we've got the result 2 that I renamed.
Yep, exactly. And if you want to get rid of that debug, you can run the debug command over again, and it'll disable it. But it keeps.
Cool. And then I need to save it, right, so that I get out of this edit mode.
That's right. Yep.
Perfect.
So those are the best ways to do it. There's also one called audit formula steps that'll actually reverse engineer and create all of the cells in separate cells off to the right, which is also pretty cool. But the main thing is that when you get your hands on somebody else's spreadsheet or something that you wrote 6 months ago, it has to be easy to audit and debug and understand.
For sure.
If it's not, then all of the power of Lambdas is lost, because we all know that we have to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, this has been great.
That's your intro to Lambda Robot.
Thank you. That's been really helpful. Thank you. And we'll see everybody next time for creating Lambda commands.
Excellent.